To learn some knife skills as well as kind of doing a demonstration for how you're going to cut the apple that you are going to use in your apple cider recipe. First of all, I put a wet napkin down underneath my cutting board so that it'll prevent it from slipping and sliding. Without this over here, look, it's just slipping and sliding everywhere. So this is going to keep you safe, because if what you're cutting on is slipping and sliding, then you're not going to have control over the knife. You're going to cut yourself. So make sure you put something underneath it so that it will not slip and slide. Next, you're going to pick up the butcher's knife or the chef's knife, and you're going to grab it with your pointer finger. You're going to take your thumb and you're going to pinch the knife with your thumb and pointer finger and wrap the rest of your fingers around the handle. This gives you a very sturdy grip. So again, pointer finger, thumb, pinch the blade, and put your fingers around the handle. Nice and sturdy. Obviously, your finger's not going to extend past the knife because you'll cut yourself. So make sure you tuck that in so you don't extend past the blade. So nice and sturdy. Now, when you are cutting, you're going to want to use a rocking motion when you get comfortable with the knife, so you can cut like this. Before you're comfortable with the knife, you're going to plant the tip of your knife. So I'm going to use a tunnel grip with my left hand, or your right if you're left-handed, and you're going to put the knife through your tunnel. So I noticed a little bit too late, I've already cut my entire apple, that the video camera cut out while I was showing you the tunnel method. So pretend I have an apple in my hand right now. I know, stinks. I could cut another apple, but I've already wasted quite a few because this video has been screwing up. Anyways, you have your apple, my invisible apple here, and you're going to bring the knife between your tunnel hands, plant it on the cutting board, and you're going to come down with it and chop the apple in half. So by planting the tip of the knife on the cutting board, you're going to have control over it. If you just bring it down like this, the apple can slip that direction or that direction, and you can cut yourself. So plant the tip and come down with it, chopping the knife in half between your fingers, between your tunnel fingers. You could also take the claw method, hold on to the apple, and come down with the knife. Cut strips, tunnel method or claw method. I prefer the claw method at this point. Cut your strips again the other direction. So I cut my strips, looks like this. Then I turned my apple 90 degrees and I cut it again into strips. See how simple this is? Your apple's cut in a mere seconds, essentially. Now my next apple, I could take my paring knife and I could cut this in half again. And I could take my paring knife and I could core the apple, cutting in with a V shape, always cutting away from your fingers. I'm not cutting this direction, I'm cutting down into an angle. And once your two cuts meet each other, the core is going to come out nice and easy. I personally, when I make apple cider, I don't care about the applesauce that's made from this. So I didn't core my apple, and I just don't care about it. I'm not going to eat the apple cider. Again, proper grip on your knife. Plant the tip, come down with it, claw with my left hand. Always protect yourself. Always control your knife. And always, whenever you possibly can, place the flat side of the apple down so that it is secure on the cutting board and it's not wobbling all around. At this point, put the flat side facing down, claw method, take it, turn it, plant the tip of your knife. Now eventually you can get to the point where, here, I'm going to cut a few more strips. That was the tunnel method. Now I can take my strips here and I have them thinner, and I can take this and you can do the rocking motion like a boat and cut your apple smaller. In fact, I can take all of these if I wanted to, and I could use my boat rocking method. I call it the boat rocking method. But this reminds me more of what you're actually doing. So we're going to go with the boat rocking method. And you can make these much smaller if you want to. These are going into a blender, so it doesn't really matter how pretty these are. We're not going to talk about cubing, julienning, and making proper knife cuts right now. We are just talking about how to cut small pieces that can go into a blender and be obliterated into, well, nothing, because we're making... Mocha, stop it! Stop it! Oi. Alright, so we have
a real, not invisible apple to work with, but we do what we gotta do because our technology always seems to fail on me, just like my computer hates me.
I have a little kitty cat here who is purring and loving up on everything. We're putting the curtains up. Excuse the boxes. Hi. He is scared of the camera, and this one's trying to rub up against it like he loves it. Silly kitty cats. Silly kitty cats. It's working! Huh, thank goodness! This was really frustrating when I was trying to cut apples, and I didn't know this was not recording, and I wasted 3 apples. Stupid thing.